I was born and grew up in a fulfilled life, I almost never get any influence of the weather. So for that, even when I heard about the phrase climate change, I didn't have so much care and interest about what it means. Life goes on until one day, I care my car broken in the middle of the road. On the day that the weather suddenly turned cold, I catch a cold and end up in the hospital for a while. And from that day forward, I can finally understand about all the suffer through the coldness and hotness that can kill those people who are living on the street. So I start to searching and finding the answer why the world has over 7 billion people living on it, and yet still can't find the common voice about climate change. First of all, climate change is slowly. Everything living in the world is changing. However, there are changes that can't be seen clearly. For example, when a child was born, that child is very small. The mother herself will always stay beside her child. She will not recognize the changes of her child, but the outsider, after a long time, didn't see the child. They can see a lot of difference in the baby from the last time they met. So is climate change is the same. We can only notice when we compare the climate stage in this stage with other stage. Second, the risk of the unaware of the climate change. For example, a storm is happening in many different ways. For example, a 6-level storm causes 10% damage, level 10 causes 30% damage. Other higher stage of storm can cause much more damage. For example, there is a house that was 1 billion Vietnam dong, and suddenly there are moth eat all the wood. If kill the moth, then we will lose 100,000 Vietnam dong every day. If after 3 months it will take 1 million plus, the quality of the house will reduce 40%, so it will cause the value of the house go down. According to economic analysis learned, if seek the risks, then we have to restrict the level of the risk, and as soon as we take care of the problem, it will cost lesser amount of money to pay. In the environment this day, one day, all the volcanoes will erupt at the same time. The Earth will be back to the ice age, so the risk is up to 99%, even the probability is low. According to the calculate of the scientists, even when cut down the pollution still can't make the average temperature of the Earth go down. Still have to avoid worst effects of climate change if we take serious action right now. Third, the climate change is from generation to generation. From the old time saying, the father done something bad, the son will take his father's sin and pay for it. For example, when the father exploit all the natural resources and many things to try to do everything for his son's benefit, to make him have a good life, maybe when the son grew up he might still living and breathing under polluted air, but when come his grandchildren, I'm not so sure about there are any air left to breathe. Fourth, climate change has already happening in the past, but it was because of the Earth's tectonic action. But in this time, the climate change is the result of people activity. 90% is because of the people. Is that the statement of the scientists? We always blame each other fault, but in fact, it's our everyday life. There are many activities that cause pollution like cars use charcoal for cooking, through trash on the street, or the rise of population. Every person living in this world, there's need for condition of life, garbage disposal, even eat more meat in the daily diet. So obviously, it will cause more CO2 and CH4. Natural resources will come to exhaustion. CO2 storage tank will be broken, and the more people, the more it costs backscatter. 5. Climate change is the river vary in the whole world, not just one specific area. Factors that can shape climate are called climate forcing. These include processes such as variation and solar radiation, radiation in the Earth's orbit, mountain building and continental drift, and changes in greenhouse gas concentration. Some parts of the climate system, such as ocean and ice cap, respond slowly in reaction to climate forcing, while others respond more quickly. Forcing mechanism can either internal or external. Internal forcing mechanism are naturally processed within the climate system itself. External forcing mechanism can be either natural or anthropogenic. Whether the initial forcing mechanism is internal or external, the response of the climate system will be fast or slow, or combination. Therefore, the climate system can respond abruptly, but the full response to forcing mechanism might not be fully developed for centuries or even longer. So you can see a lot of bad effects happening with all what I'm talking about. So what are you going to do about that? That seems like an easy question, but it's hard to take an action on how to do it. And till now, it still takes a lot of ink for the newspaper talking about this subject that haven't been taken seriously by society. If want to have a solution for climate change, we have to have a good plan. Let's say it another way. Everyone has to have their own benefit. So the Kyoto Protocol still haven't have the answer. The analyzed climate change depend on the game theory has been Nobel Award about economic. Let's say A is developed country had given up gas made climate change in high levels since 1980s, and also because of that it have high developed rate in economic and good environment since 1985 till not giving out an amount of CO2. Country B is developing, pollution is low and right now have a speed of economic growth not so high, living economic environment not so good since 1985 till now. Let's say the pollution is zero. Till now the future we can say pollution is true. There will be lots of options happening. A, B continue to giving out pollution. The world have to deal with it. 1 plus 1 equal 2. A not giving up pollution. B start to have high polluted. The world take it 1 plus 2. A giving up pollution. B is not take it 1 plus 1. The end A didn't give out pollution. B is not also. The world will only take the pollution from the past, but because B didn't have enough money to afford, so A and B will help. Depend on the game's theory, cooperate or die. So for the less damage, we have to help each other. If you're not corporate, let me tell you a last story. In the wooden house beside the river, there is a big moth and a small wolf. The big one will try so hard to eat a lot of wood every day to get fat. The small one will see that and feel it wants to be like that too, so it also eat a lot of food and then become big like its friend. Day past day, the house can't take it anymore and start to fall down the river. The moth become the dinner for the fish. Let's imagine in the future, our earth is like a wooden house beside the river. Me and you and everyone are big and small moths. Everyone tries so hard to destroy the earth we are living in, and in the end there will be nothing left to eat.